Hello. This is going to be more of a testimony than anything. I have a headache right now, so I'm sorry. But this is seriously something that I want people to understand who are struggling with their Christianity and their walk with Christ. Um, a lot of people look at me and view me as being someone totally different, but this is something that I want people to understand, that no matter how far you get and how close to Christ you get, we're all made of the flesh. We're all made of flesh, but we don't have to live that way. And I always say that, and I'm going to always say that. Well, this is the thing. Today I had an episode. I want people to understand that although God uses me and I hear the voice of God on a regular basis, um, I'm still human. I still have a struggle as well. I wake up from day to day and I have to die to my flesh as well. I have to renew my mind as well. And not only that, the one thing about me is I'm not where I need to be when it comes to humbling myself, and I won't ever claim that I am. A lot of you people on my page don't know me personally, and then there are those that actually do, that have been around. Um, I'll say that the people that know me personally, they think that I'm crazy. I've been called crazy, and that's fine. That's not a label that I wear. But I will say this, people, I know exactly who I was, and I know exactly who I am, and I also know exactly who I strive to be. I was a out of control, walking, ticking time bomb. Um, I've run people over with my cars. I've shot at people. I've stabbed a few people. I've cut people. Um, I even stabbed my cousin, and I felt really bad afterwards or whatever. But I mean, it wasn't anything that I could do to change that after it was done. But all of these things happened. I've tried to set people on fire. I've maced people, and it was just like a lot of things that I've done out of anger because I was uncontrollable to myself. It didn't have anything to do with other people being able to control me. I couldn't control me. So when the Bible tells you that when you struggle with the flesh, God tells you that He'll give you a way out. So my way out was walking off, walking away, leaving. I didn't know how to. I to this day, I don't know how to stand there and allow people to do certain things to me. Well, today, my cousin called me off so that he can talk to me, and that was fine. I'll talk to anyone. Well, the thing is, about 2 weeks ago, I was sitting on my couch watching television, and I heard the voice say, uh, basically, the voice told me that my nephew was going to allow my cousin to get him killed. And it frightened me because I heard the voice clear. And I looked around, worried and everything, of course, because I'm human. I don't claim not to be. But I just hear this voice saying, such and such is going to let such and such get them killed. And it took me all of 10 or 15 minutes to gather myself and calm down. But then my phone rang, maybe completely a total of 20 minutes later. And during that phone call, it was my cousin telling me that my nephew and my other cousin had just got shot at. And he said that my nephew had got shot in the hand. Well, it turned out he didn't get shot in the hand. He actually got grazed by the bullet. But the thing is, because I heard the voice right before I got the call, it did something to me. And so I was uh, a little leery and unsettled after that. So I remember telling my cousin when he originally called me and told me that they had got shot at. I remember telling him that I heard that voice and what the voice said to me right before I got his phone call. And at that point, I called my nephew and I told my nephew what the voice said to me. And I told him, I was like, look, I heard this voice and I know it was the voice of God. Like, so let's not get that misunderstood. But the thing is, I told him, I said, I heard the voice. And the voice told me that you were going to mess around and allow him to get you killed. And the thing is, my cousin has a alcohol problem. When he drinks, he's a total different person. And he tend to get into fights with people. Well, for me to get that phone call right after I heard the voice, 20 minutes later, at the most 25 minutes later, I told my nephew about it. And the thing is, my nephew already knows to the extent, because for years I've been used to warn people. I'm sorry. And when I would warn people, like I said before, things would happen afterwards. I've warned people and they've died in a matter of a day or two afterwards. So it was a hard thing for me to hear this voice and then get a phone call and tell me that my nephew and my cousin got shot at. And with me hearing the voice, I told my nephew, because they shared an apartment, I said, you need to move, you and your kid's mother and your kids, because he have his kids living with him. I said, you need to move or whatever. I said, because he's gonna mess around and get you killed for real. This was after I told him what the voice said. Well, I only said that to two people. Well, one of those two people decided to tell my cousin what I said, but they didn't tell him the whole story. They didn't tell him that I heard the voice before I made the comment, before I stated what was said. They just told him that I said that he was going to get my nephew killed. So that's what he wanted to talk to me about. Well, the thing is, I said, first of all, let me explain to you what was said. I said, since the person didn't tell you. Well, when I told him about the voice and what I heard, he was like, well, they ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm saying, well, this is the thing I want everybody to understand. We cannot get upset with people and check people or whatever you want to call it over their own opinion. Had I not heard the voice, and I got that phone call without hearing the voice first, and I made that comment, that was still my right to feel that way, even with or without hearing the voice. So you can't come to me being a grown woman and think that you can check me about how I feel. So, I tried to explain to my cousin about the voice or whatever, and he wasn't trying to hear it. He was just like, nah, but I'm saying it. So when I realized he was getting aggressive, I was like, you know what? Well, I'm just about to go, and I started walking back across the street. It's like, if we can't hold a conversation, then I'm just gonna leave, because you can't talk to me crazy, So from there, everything just went all kinds of crazy. Um, we got into the argument. Either way it go, we didn't really get into an argument then because I walked across the street and I said some things to him. He said some things to me, and I went in the house. And all of a sudden, I heard him tell my other cousin that he'll drag me like a nigga off the street and beat the fuck out of me before I even make it to my gun. And that's when I had a problem because you're not going to put your hands on me. Nobody is going to put their hands on me. I say that and I mean that. God has not taken me to a place where I'm going to allow somebody to come and whoop me. I'm sorry. I tell people all the time, the last whooping I got was as a kid. You discipline your kids. You don't discipline other adults. I don't care who it is. Everybody keep their hands to themselves. When you talk about putting your hands on me, we're talking about something different. But the thing is, this is where I'm getting ready to speak to the people from my heart right now, because although he said what he said, I didn't have to respond. I could have kept doing what I was doing. I could have stayed in the house without saying anything, but I resulted back to my fleshly ways real quick. I was like, who you think you talking to? You're not finna put your hands on me. You done lost your mind talking about putting your blankety blank hands on me. And it went haywire from there. He was telling them he was finna come whoop me. I'm finna whoop that bee. I went in my auntie kitchen because my gun was in the car. I was actually gone. I came back to use the restroom. And yes, I do carry a gun. I do, and I don't tell a lie. And I don't always have it with me, but either way it goes. So and my cousin is a big guy, and I'll fight anybody, but like I'm not just finna just let you come whoop me. So they were holding him back, and he was gonna whoop me. So I went in my auntie's drawer, and I got a knife, and I know my cousin know I'll cut him. And I know I'll cut him, but that's the thing. All I can do right now is thank God that situation didn't go that way, because it was just been an ugly mess all over again. And then I would have been feeling bad all over again for cutting another cousin or stabbing another cousin. So I'm still working on me. I remember when God told me to submit to this journey, that he was going to use me like this. I remember saying, God, let me fix myself first. And God said, you can't fix you. I'll fix you. You go because I said go. And I was shocked, because it was like, at that point, the one thing I didn't want to do was come across to the people that God used me to speak to and deliver messages to as a hypocrite. I didn't want that. I wanted to be right. And to this day, I still live. I'm not living a life of willful sin. I'm not. But I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect by a long shot. I still have issues and things. But the thing is, I deal with people off the street. It's like, whatever, okay. But when it comes to my family members, dealing with my kids and my ex-husband and my cousins, I see now that I will result back to that. You better not think that you gon', and I don't want to be that person. I want to walk off and not even respond. But that's the point. I'm still going through a transformation. I'm not completely transformed, and I don't think any of us will ever be completely transformed. Just last year, the reason why I told God to let me fix myself is I was cursing like a sailor. I was smoking weed. Oh my God. I was smoking an ounce every day and a half by myself. Like, it is not a game. I was smoking so much weed, it was unbelievable. And when I realized that, I knew I had a problem. And I was fornicating like crazy. If I wanted to have sex with somebody, I had sex with them. I had left my husband, so there was no need for me to be worried about what I had to do and what I didn't have to do, if I was going to be a cheater or not be a cheater, because I was no longer with my husband, and when it was over, it was over. So I felt like I could do what I wanted to do, but I got a Holy Ghost whooping like none other. And God washed those things away from me. I don't willfully sin anymore. I'm not fornicating. I haven't fornicated since last year. It's actually about to be a year. I don't curse anymore. When I get mad, yes, I will. Yes, I have. So I'm not going to tell any lies. I just want people to know that this walk is a struggle. It's a battle, and it's a battle against your own self flesh. So although my cousin made the comment about dragging me and beating me down like a nigga off the street, I did not have to respond. I could have just stayed in the house where I went and just let him say whatever he wanted to say, because in my head I knew that I wasn't going to let him or nobody else put their hands on me. So at some point, I know that I'm nowhere near where I used to be. Oh my God. I thank God for that. I thank God for deliverance. Because like I said, the old me didn't care. I was straight clowning. And I did not care. And to this day, people still think that I'm crazy. And I hate to see people be afraid of what I might be capable of because of the things that I would do when I flipped out. And I'm not going to lie. Sometimes when I think about who I was and the person that I was and where I came from, it scares me because I had no control over who I was as a person. I had no control over me. I had no control over the things that I did. I was just a loose cannon. And I thank God for delivering me from there. But I'm so much better. And I thank him for that. But I'm not perfect. And I want anybody that's on this walk to understand, don't make anybody pressure you into feeling like you have to be perfect. Don't make anybody pressure you into pretending like you have to be perfect. Because you're not. You never will be. But at the same time, you can strive for perfection. I tell people, don't talk to me about who I used to be. If you want to talk to me about who I am now. Because I'm not the same person that I used to be. And I don't ever plan on going back to being that person. But at the same time, I do ask God to give me complete humbleness so that I can humble myself even in situations like this, especially when it comes to my family. Because I don't ever want to fight my family again. I've fought my family. I've fought strangers. An ex-boyfriend's mom. I just don't want to be the person that I used to be at all. So with that being said, people, you don't have to pretend to be perfect because you're not. This is a battle, and it's a battle against your own flesh. And at the end of the day, I don't ever want anybody to think that I come across as being perfect, and I'm not going to ever portray that I am. But what I will do is continue to let God use me and allow him to use me the way that he see fit, because I'm going to be obedient regardless. And it doesn't change my status with God. With that being said, I just wanted to share this testimony and let people know that we're human. Be you. But at the same time, know when it's time to change and do what you have to do. Do your part. Everyone be blessed. I'm done, and I just wanted to share that. Sorry for the emotionalness, but it's an emotional situation right now. All right.